Welcome to episode 42 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense, and joining me today is Kortney Woldt from Woldt Farms in Brillion. Kortney's fourth-generation farmer on the farm, which was established in 1911. And Kourtney is joining me today to talk about the destination that Woldt Farms has become with its numerous bus tours and Woldt Farm store that showcase the labors of Kourtney and the rest of the members of the Woldt family. Additionally, Woldt Farms is going to be one of the stops on the upcoming 2025 Meet Your Local Farmer event taking place in Calumet County and beyond on April 26th. And that was just the topic of our last episode of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. So, Kourtney, thank you so much for being with us today. And can you just help to set the landscape for our listeners, just how big of a deal is agriculture in Calumet County?
Yeah, I think it's a huge deal. Anywhere you drive, anywhere you look, you'll stumble across a farm or something that deals with the farming industry. There's fields that are used for farming and to feed their animals all over. You really can't go anywhere without running into anything that doesn't involve agriculture here.
And so what would the casual observer be surprised to learn about Calumet County agriculture?
I feel like when people think of agriculture in general, they just think of like dairy farms and cows. And I think Calumet County has a lot more to offer than just farms and cows. We have hog farmers, sheep farmers, fruit farmers, just a wide variety.
So it's the total agricultural package here in Calumet County, not just the fact that there's more cows than people living here, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So could you walk listeners through the history of the Woldt family farm?
Yeah, so my great-grandpa started the farm in 1911. I don't know how many he was milking at the time, but then my parents took over in the 90s, and they took the herd from, I believe it was like mid-80s to about 750 within the first 10 years. And then we doubled in size again, and we're milking about 1,650 now.
Okay. So this is a pretty large operation. What are some of the things that your parents ran into over the years growing the herd from that size?
I think just learning how to manage it all. I mean, when you're milking 80 cows, you don't really need as many employees. So as we grew, we needed to grow not only our employee numbers, but also our business side. Our office had to grow and develop, and we had to learn how to navigate more of that.
And so what is the operation currently focusing on mostly today in today's environment?
The dairy aspect is the main focus of our farm. Not only just our cows, but we do a lot of the field work ourselves, and we try to do that as clean as possible, as sustainable as possible. So we've adapted some practices in our farming, such as no-till, and we try to make sure all of our fields have cover crops on, so we eliminate the erosion that happens in our fields.
So if you have a rain event, you guys are prepared for it. You're not going to see a lot of soil runoff or anything, right?
Yeah. We hate to see brown dirt in spring. That's for sure.
Okay. You've opened your farm to tours, and you are looking at a lot of elementary kids that come through on the tours. Mm-hmm. Is that all the audiences is elementary, or is it open to other people too?
No, the tours are open to everyone. I would actually say we have more people from other countries that come and tour our facilities just to compare it to what they have going on at home. A lot of the businesses that we work with bring people through. Anyone that is interested can send us an email, and we can set up a time and get them through the farm and have them learn a little bit about it.
And your farm is capable of handling large tours. I've seen the coverage in some of the news stories where you've had groups out here of the elementary kids, as I mentioned before. Mm-hmm. We're talking buses at a time, correct? How does that happen on your operation here?
Yeah, so one of the main big events that we do is fourth graders on the farm in Calumet County. So all the fourth graders within Calumet County get to come out to the farm, and we have stations set up throughout the farm, and they just get to learn a little bit about the milking process, the feed that they eat, the machine shop, the equipment, a little bit of everything. It kind of takes all hands on deck, so it's not just us putting on that event. We work with the Farm Bureau, and they kind of take lead and set it all up, and we're just the location, and we're able to help them out with that.
Okay, now is the operation all in Calumet County? Because we're right on the border here with Brown County. Is part of the operation in Brown County as well, or just here in Calumet?
Nope, so all of our buildings and everything is Calumet.
It is, okay.
We do have some fields in other counties, but all of the home base is Calumet.
Okay. If listeners were to come on a tour, what kind of things would they learn about? What would they see?
Yeah, we would take you through the milking process, show you through the barns, kind of explain the barns to you, and like the ventilation in our barns are all for the benefit of our cows to keep them as comfortable as possible. We would take you through the feed that they are given, kind of the process on how we do that, and then through the machine shop and all of that.
Just so listeners know, you keep hearing some humming in the background and maybe a kickstart of a cooler happening here and there in the background. That's because we're inside the Woldt Farm store. Give listeners the background on what prompted the idea of creating, on the middle of your acreage, the Woldt Farm store.
Yeah, we kind of always had an idea of starting farm store up in the back of our minds, but once we went through COVID, we had a lot of demand for people wanting meat from places that they know, people who they knew raised them, just so they had a little more information about what they were eating. So we decided to open this up. I actually was in college at the time, and I did some internships at Feltz's Dairy Store up in Stevens Point, where they taught me a lot about it all. And then once I graduated, we opened this up.
What's the mission of the store?
We just want to give good products to our community and help them learn a little more about all of the products that people in our area make. Not only do we have our meat that is raised in our own store, but we have maple syrup and everything that is made from people in our community. So just giving them a little bit more from our community and seeing everything that they can get within a local radius is pretty cool.
So you mentioned a little bit, what kind of products do you offer?
Yeah, we have the meat. We have, like I said, maple syrup, honey, cheese, milk, ice cream, pork. We do have some spirits and wines. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
The Woldt Farm is participating in the 2025 Meet Your Local Farmer program. Can you maybe give listeners why you feel that's an important program to participate in?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to be able to put a face to the business and the operation behind. It gives it a little bit more of a meaningful connection, and you know, again, where you're or who you're supporting, and maybe who's raising that meat that you're setting on your table at night. Yeah, it just gives a little bit more sense of community.
What are some of the common misconceptions that you hear from people when they come out to the farm or take a tour? Some of the things that they just haven't been exposed to a farm before, the beliefs they might hold. What kind of things do you hear that just are way out of left field?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot, especially now with social media and all the videos that are all over the place. But one thing that people always are like is, wow, I can't believe this is happening like 20 minutes away from my home. We have some people from Appleton that come out, and they're just shocked by the amount of work and everything that gets put into this farm and farms all in this area.
What's the most rewarding aspect of running a farm operation?
I think from the store aspect, that just getting a compliment on our products is pretty great. When people say something like, those are the best burgers we've ever had, or that milk is really good, or something like that, it just kind of makes us feel good, makes us validate what we're doing and that we're doing a good job here.
What's the biggest challenge that you're facing in running the operation and running the store?
The store, I would say, just getting people back in here. We're not really in a very busy place. We're not in the middle of a town or anything, so people kind of have to drive out of their way to get to us. So making our products something that they want to drive out of town for is something that we've been not struggling with, but just trying to keep improving and keep them coming to us.
Really, it's just going to Brillion and driving, about a mile north of town, and you're here, right?
Yeah, we're about 3 miles out of town.
Is it 3 miles? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of hours do you have that you're open for business?
Yeah, we're open on Tuesday and Thursdays from 1 to 5:30, and then Friday and Saturdays from 9 to 2.
And do you do anything on the internet, mail order or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. We do have an online site that you can order from. We have the option to pick up, and those are on Thursday nights and Saturday mornings where you can order online and just pick up. We'll have it all ready for you. Or we do ship some. Shipping gets tough with meat, but we try to do it in the winter months more than the summer months for sure.
What should people stopping by for the Meet Your Local Farmer event expect on April 26th? How should they dress, for example?
Yeah, you can just come dressed in your normal clothes. Our farm is pretty clean. We have blacktop everywhere. You're not going to be stepping in anything you don't want to. So just wearing your normal clothes is fine. We'll have the store open, obviously, and we'll have some deals for you. And if people want a tour, we'll be offering that as well.
Do you source a lot of restaurants in the area?
We do. We're trying to get more into it. Maybe 1 or 2 right now, and then hopefully once we build up our business, we can have more storage to be able to do more of that.
If someone's listening to this and they're living in California or Texas or Missouri and they're thinking, boy, we want to take a family vacation to Wisconsin, and they would like to take a tour of the Woldt family farm, how can they reach out and how would they go about organizing that?
Yeah, you can look us up on our website. We have Facebook and Instagram too, or on all the socials, and you can just message us there, or if you go on our website, you can email us and we'll set up a time and date that works best for all of us.
And is there any limit to size of tour?
We haven't yet. When we had those 4th graders out, we were running probably 400 kids through, so we've been able to adapt to larger groups.
Okay, so a motor coach bus, if they wanted to come in, they could certainly be capable to stop off and take a tour as well.
Yeah, we've had a couple buses come through.
Yeah, okay, great. So could you just remind listeners again what the web address is again as we wrap up here?
You can just look up Woldt Farms, and then it should be the first link that pops up for you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Kourtney, for being a guest today on the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. It was great to hear about all the exciting things that are happening at Woldt Farms. And listeners, thanks for tuning in to episode number 42. Please make sure you check out the other 41 episodes of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast by clicking on the microphone on the homepage of travelcalumet.com. And if you liked what you heard today or on previous episodes, please help us spread the word about all the great things taking place here in Calumet County, and take the time to text a couple of friends, encouraging them to listen to the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. Thank you for listening, and until next time.